A major disaster. On a predestined road to the afterlife. Do what I please. Hello everyone. Welcome to the sponsored extra episode 15 of Destiny. So, what happened next occurred on December 20th, 2020, in the Volta region of Ghana, Africa. At that time, a group of tourists visited the local crocodile resort. Prior to this, the resort's external publicity claimed that the crocodiles were very friendly and never people. You can see that there is a trained crocodile that has climbed onto the shore. He knows that when guests come to take photos, the staff will feed him a chicken. Indeed, he's a respected and virtuous veteran actor. See, he even climbs to a specific spot and stops to wait for the staff to feed him. But as it turned out, the staff was not on site at that moment, and the tourists nearby were eager to take photos.
So, the expected thing happened.
You can see that this crocodile has already taken several photos without moving, and is still very cooperative. But it wasn't until a woman in an orange dress appeared
that the expected thing happened.
According to subsequent reports, Ghana's Tourism Bureau intervened in the investigation, finding that the crocodile hadn't eaten. There was a potential risk of attack. In addition, the woman in the orange clothes was squatting on the side, applying some force to the crocodile's back. Therefore, the crocodile thought it was being attacked. However, the report mentioned that the woman only suffered minor injuries and was not in critical condition. So, what happened next occurred on August 28, 2021, in Thailand. At that time, the owner of the scrapyard was preparing to dismantle the gas cylinders that had just been collected, and the expected thing happened. You can see that the gas cylinder suddenly flew out,
and, like a missile, pierced through the entire house. Hee, let's have a bird's eye view.
Look, the hole that was knocked out is very neat, which means the power is no less than Naruto's raising him. If Sasuke were to see this, he would probably be jealous again. So, what happened next occurred on May 12, 2024, in Thailand. At that time, workers at the scrapyard were cutting a pile of 30 centimeters scrap chemical containers. It should have been empty inside.
But the unexpected happened.
You can see that when he was cutting one of them,
the gas inside started to spew out sparks.
According to subsequent reports, the worker's left arm was directly blown off after the recycling station owner called for help. When the ambulance arrived at the scene, because the people nearby didn't provide timely first aid, the medical staff was unable to save him. They then announced on the spot that he had become a neutrino. Accidents in life are really impossible to guard against if we don't take our own precautions. We'll just be at the mercy of others, especially now that there are consumer traps everywhere. I couldn't stick to manual bookkeeping before, scraping by every day, spending a lot of money. Now I use Meow bookkeeping. As long as you spend money, it automatically identifies and categorizes your expenses after payment. It's so convenient. Keeping accounts is easy. It can also generate a custom monthly report based on your bills. Summarize your biggest expenses. You'll know at a glance. You know the proportion of various consumption categories. Then you can control them accordingly. Avoid unnecessary spending. If you can't control this, I suggest you don't be lazy at the beginning of the month. Set up a consumption budget. For example, set 2,000 for dining. Watching a progress bar, if you dare to spend recklessly, it's just your health bar. Warning, budgeting is just a means. Our goal is still to cultivate good spending habits. Now that I've saved some money, I won't spend it recklessly. Usually, it's a check-in for 365 days. Save a little bit every day in the savings plan. The amount is not large. It doesn't affect normal life. I've already saved over 9,000. I'm just waiting for the holidays to go out and relax. Everyone, go to the top link in the comments section. Download it too. Learn to budget and save money together. So, what happened next was back in Florida on September 11, 2024. At that time, 32-year-old Enrique argued with his 27-year-old ex-wife, Amy. So Enrique wanted to enter the house to beat up Amy. But Amy had already changed the password.
So he was very angry.
Now Enrique punched and broke the window. But at the same time, his arm was also cut. Then his attitude reversed.
He humbly asked Amy to call for help.
Oh my god. Amy. Oh my god. Amy. Please. Oh my god. Please.
Amy, please.
Please.
Amy, please.
Please. Call the car.
Amy, please.
According to subsequent reports, this Amy then helped her make a call for help. Enrique was sent to a nearby hospital for emergency treatment. After 3 days of blood transfusions, he finally managed to save his arm. But some areas still lost sensation. However, after she was discharged, she was caught by the local police. Because Amy provided the surveillance footage of the previous domestic violence, there were indeed scenes of Enrique beating her. So, Enrique was charged with domestic violence and assault, and was prohibited from contacting Amy. So, what happened next occurred on January 29, 2023, in Bangladesh. At that time, there was a traffic jam on a small road with only 2 lanes. But you can see that a tractor piled with goods appeared in the picture. What's worse is that
the road wasn't very smooth either.
Now, this person instinctively used his hands to support himself, but he soon found it was useless. So he immediately ran away. However, the one wearing white clothes, and the lady in red behind him.
It was too late when they noticed the danger.
According to subsequent news, the lady in red was crushed into a neutrino on the spot, and the other man in white clothes. When the goods fell down, he stepped on the accelerator, so only his lower body was hit. The doctor found fractures in both legs after examining him. But the problem is, the delivery person didn't have money to compensate them, and the boss said it had nothing to do with him. So the matter remained unresolved. So, the following incident happened on November 26, 2022, at a ferry terminal in Brazil. At that time, 43-year-old Ana Claudia just disembarked. She was ready to go to the exit. Unexpectedly, something happened. However, from the screen, you can see that
a tire was rolling towards the ferry exit. Now, this Ana Claudia also appeared.
According to subsequent reports, Anna, after being hit, showed symptoms of epilepsy. The ferry security called for help for Anna. Fortunately, there happened to be a mobile first aid center nearby. They sent her to a nearby hospital. And later, local police also got involved in the investigation. They found the information of the car owner through other surveillance and arrested him. But the report mentioned that the car owner didn't know what had happened at the time. However, he promised that all of Anna's medical expenses would be jointly borne by him and the insurance company. Now, what happened next was in Woyo, Phuket Island. A worker can be seen unloading goods from a truck. But even as a layman, I can see that his operating method definitely has some problems.
Friends who know about it can explain it to everyone.
Fortunately,
the worker wasn't crushed by this very heavy equipment.
But it's estimated that when he fell, he hit his head.
Her colleague immediately called for help.
You can see that the female colleague kept gesturing for her not to move. It shows that he was still conscious at that time, but didn't find the specific aftermath. So, the following incident also happened in the Woyo Phuket Island. At that time, 37-year-old Master Young was originally there to tie up the rebar, but he didn't notice that his own left foot was entangled by another rope.
So then, he was lifted up together with the rebar.
Xiang Yusheng mentioned that after he was lifted up, his colleagues immediately contacted the crane operator via walkie-talkie. We can see that the rebar is slowly descending at this time.
But the unexpected happened.
During the lowering process, the rope that entangled Master Yang's foot suddenly came loose again. Although he fell down, Master Yang quickly got up by himself. The news also mentioned that he was unharmed.
So, that's all for this video.
For safety warnings only. If you like it, remember to like, recommend, and do that one-click green one.
See you next time.